What's up, this is Nate the Bias User, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Parannoul album, Sky 100. I can appreciate how active South Korean shoegaze artist Parannoul has always been for the most part, with him always being down for collab albums with artists such as Fax Gang and Asian Glow, but it does not compare to his solo works that established the pool of a lot of music fans, including myself with his 2021 album, To See the Next Part of the Dream, an amazing record that continued to amaze with the B-sides that dropped a year later, and then the next official solo release in 2023, After the Magic. Despite that record having some experimentations that didn't quite land, it was definitely still fun and unique enough to want to eagerly await what he does next, and now we have it. For the overall sound of this record, it's not as heavily surrounded in any sound like the previous, but it seems as though that gives the instrumentation the opportunity to shine. Just look at the beauty provided on the intro, A Lot Can Happen, with the optimistic piano chemistry with the singing, and soft produced but striking drums. And the way the track evolves, especially with the piano and everything that complements its evolution, like the synths that come in towards the end, full of loudness in general, will let you, the audience, know you're in for an adventure. A promise Parannoul didn't have a hard time keeping on the follow-up Gold River, with its explosive start, and once the loudness calms down on the verse, we get drums that are very crisp for Parannoul standards, and the guitar is such a frolic. And this section sounds just like a frolic outside. One can say this entire album sounds like how the cover looks, to be honest. The chorus gets kicked off with the droning guitar passage, full of the roughness Parannoul is known for. It's also incredibly spiritual, and it stays that way even when the track reestablishes its explosive side with a piano, synth, and high-pitched bell. With a riff that parallels so greatly, it may as well all be the same instrument. And this song not only begins, but ends with it. I can't help but feel more appreciative with the vocals on Maybe Somewhere. Not only is the singing just great, but the auto-tune switches to a walkie-talkie approach when the track does a quick quiet down, where the vocals go well with the plucking and crisp guitar, still providing a reasonable amount of static, and a fuzzy digital drum. I like the way it plugs in, and outside my love for the vocals and everything that interacts with it, the 8-bit synths later in the track, the horns that are also there and help raise the snares, so good, and does the best service to the song's progression. The more calm moments on the follow-up Painless helps let you know how real the drums are, with them always hitting in a different volume, and the way the piano is performed with the drums gives a fading in and out effect that really soothes the brain. I love it so much. And we even get something similar on the chorus, where in the storm of fuzzy drones, there's this sparkling synth passing back and forth, where in between the pass-bys, it goes from being in contact to hard to get a hold of. Another way of saying it fades in and out. The record gets energetic and crazy bright on Lights of Repentance, with super quick oily synths working with the loudness, and the piano, bell, and vocals staying aligned with each other. This track is a lot of beautiful things in such a short amount of time. The only thing I wish it had or didn't have was the glitched out ending. Like, I'm all about ending things with people wanting more, but not like this. But I'm grateful for what we got, and again, it did a lot, especially considering its short length, relative to most of the album. Where on the other end, there's Evoke Me, the longest of the record, really close to basically 14 minutes, and it definitely becomes more enjoyable as the song progresses. I wish that did say more for the final moments, and those moments were great, but what we get beforehand is basically the reason why this is my least favorite track. It opens with some colorful 8-bit synths, and they sound beautiful, especially with the keys maintaining their surrounding, but it's also relatively skeletal, and when the track gets loud, the drones and vocals are front and center, while the piano and just any instrument that displays any kind of hope and passion while there feels like it's holding back. But reminder, this is a long one. I'm mostly talking about the start. Once we reach the middle, we get a better idea of the good that pays off. The droning passages are great, love the direction. When we get towards the final moments, there's a moment of quietness that gets its own significant parts, but my biggest highlight has to be the bass and guitar, playing in a spaced out manner, with this in a tunnel through a fan kind of effect. And once the loudness comes back for the end, we get different layers of long beep-like synths, all seeming to do their own thing. And it sounds so good hearing them both do it. They're not there the whole time though, making room for wavy synths that were also nice. As critical as I've been about the song, Evoke Me is still great. So is the last couple of tracks. Backwards has fun with how simple but lovely the piano plays in the storm. And with the closer Fantasy, I appreciate how much of a bass the piano comes off. It instigates a lot of density of the rest of the instrumental. So for my overall thoughts on Sky 100, is it the best Parannoul album? Is it a step up from what he's done on the previous? To the answer, I guess on the being the best one, I'll say I don't entirely know. no, because while I do prefer the shoegaze effect present, want to see the next part of the dream more, the aspects working alongside those effects on this one were amazing. And even though the atmosphere does feel stripped back compared to After the Magic, unlike that record, all of the new ideas and risks being taken actually seemed to work and didn't result in any stinkers. In fact, this time around, the more he played it safe, the less I was interested. So yeah, Sky 100 was a step up. There may be tracks that might not have stood out to me as much as others, especially on the back end. This could have totally been a better project, but it still doesn't change the fact that Parannoul continues to be one of the most standout shoegaze acts as of recent, especially in the midst of all the low sound quality, noisy, static sounding artists gaining popularity right now. I'm gonna give this album an 8.4. Like, subscribe, comment how you feel, or give a suggestion. Check out my other social medias, ring that bell, and I will see you next time.